So when we built out this DIY box truck camper, because it's a box truck, it's square all the way up around, so it's not curved like a van is, which means we were able to actually just buy kitchen cabinets from Lowe's and install them. Lowers here and uppers there, and it worked perfectly. But because of that, these are not custom built, so we could only buy cabinets that were certain widths. So when we put these together, we ended up with this little gap right here between that and the bed, which turns out to be perfect because we were able to find this little sliding spice rack to go in here, and we absolutely love it. But all of a sudden we have a problem. I don't know why. It's hard to pull, and it goes that far and won't go any further. I can't figure out why. So I'm going to have to take a look at this. Well, hey everybody, I'm Bill with Live Simple, Live Free, and I'm absolutely baffled by this. It's hard to pull out, comes that far and stops. It's a hard stop, it won't go any further. I can't see anything in there, it's blocking it. I wondered if there was something that fell down in the way and it couldn't come out. It's just simply, is free back there, but it just simply won't move. I don't know why. It must be something in the slide mechanism itself or something. I don't know what else to do except just force it and see what happens. Oh, I gotta get in the right position to be able to do that. Oh, don't ever get old. Okay. Oh, it's moving. Well, that's hard. There it is, it's out. So it has something to do with the slide, apparently. So now that I see that it's already all the way out, it is the slide. Right here, this is actually a telescoping thing, like that. And this is all covered with rust right here. And it's even worse on the other side. So here's the slide on the other side. You can see right in here, it's just solid rust. So hopefully I can sand off some of that rust and just lubricate it, and that'll take care of it. I hope, because we love this thing. I can't imagine why or how it got rusty. You probably can't see back there, but no, you can't see. But there's no moisture back there. It's completely dry. It's not like water was leaking back there, so I don't know why it ended up like that. So I went down to Tractor Supply, which is right down the road from me. I got some sandpaper because I'm going to try to sand off as much of that rust as I can. And then I got some WD-40, and this is a new formula, white lithium grease, long lasting. So we'll see what that does. Here's the crazy thing. I couldn't believe this. I took it up to the cash register, and she put it in there, and she says, "I need your birthday." I said, "What? Why do you need your birthday?" She said, "For the WD-40. I said, "Are you kidding me?" She said, "Nope, it's now required." She says, "I don't know what kids are doing with WD-40, but your birth date is now required." The computer wouldn't even finish the sale unless she entered my birth date into the transaction for the WD-40. So I was carded to buy WD-40. For those of you who are not American, you don't know what I'm talking about. We have age laws to be able to buy certain items. When it first started, it was just alcohol and cigarettes. You had to be, I think, 21. Because I remember when I was in the Army, there were a lot of young recruits that were really upset because they were in the Army and they were old enough to die for their country, but they weren't old enough to drink a can of beer because they weren't 21 yet. So, but anyway, back then, that became the law, and it just was up to the individual cashier. If somebody looks like they're under 21, then you would card them. But of course, there was a lot of abuses there. Now it's getting more and more strict, and now everyone that buys certain items like this have to be carded. And in fact, at Tractor Supply, the computer wouldn't even finish the transaction until I put my my birthday in there. She said, "Oh yeah, it's getting crazy." She said they're even doing things like Windex and stuff like that. She says, "I don't know what people are doing with this stuff." But anyway, it just blew my mind. Absolutely blew my mind. Anyway, turns out, when I showed her my ID, it turns out that I was actually old enough to buy this. So she put in my birth date, and now it's on record that I've bought this. So anyway, okay, let's get started here. As I feel this slide down here, I can tell that it used to be covered with a coating of like light grease or something. We put this in a year and a half ago, so in about a year and a half it corroded to the point where it wouldn't pull out. Hopefully this will take care of it. Okay, this is kind of awkward and tedious to sand. It's difficult. I think it's going to be even more difficult to actually film it, especially on the other side. So I'm going to just continue sanding and shut the camera off. Come back when it's done. Okay, I've been sanding for about 15 or 20 minutes and it's really difficult to get in there. I don't know if this is going to work or not. I don't know if you can see this, but there are grooves all over the place. I was able to sand the top portion, but then down inside there, you see there's a groove that's filled with rust. And I can't get a piece of sandpaper down inside of there. Also down on the underside in here, there's a lot of rust and I just can't get the sandpaper in there to make it work. So now it does slide a little better than it was before. But it's still very stiff, especially right there. The first slide works kind of okay, the second slide is very stiff. So all I can do is try to lubricate it and see what happens. Supposed to be some kind of lithium grease, long lasting. See what happens. Well, it's working a little better. Still sticks a little bit right there, but at least it's usable now. Alright, I think I'm going to go with that. I'll just be aware of it, and maybe once a month for a while now I'll put a new coating of this on there, see if I can get it to loosen up even more. The other option, yuck, just got the rust all over the floor. The other option would be to actually take the whole thing apart, try to buy new slides and replace those. I don't want to do that unless I have to. Now how am I going to get this up? Oh man, I made a mess here. The rust mixed in with the with the spray oil that leaked through, and now it's stained the floor. So I'm going to have to try to get some kind of a cleaner, grease cleaner, see if I can get that up. Alright, looks like this is going to work. This is just general purpose cleaner with a grease cutting formula in it. Oh, I'm so glad. I was afraid I had permanently stained the floor. That would have been a disaster. Still a little bit in the cracks and stuff. I'll just keep working on that. Alright, I got it pretty clean now. There's just a tiny little bit of rust color left in this joint between the two tiles, but that's acceptable. Yeah, from a distance, if you squint, it looks fine. Yeah. It's a little stiff, but I think I got it working again, and Elizabeth will be very happy. Problem avoided, catastrophe avoided, at least for now. We'll see how it goes in the future. Another thing that I need to do while I'm out here is clean and do a little maintenance on this refrigerator. This is an absolute amazing refrigerator. It's basically bomb-proof. We've had it for about 1.5 years, and I plugged it in when I got it, and it hasn't been unplugged yet. It's been running the entire time, which is probably kind of dumb because we haven't always been using the truck. We've had times where it'd be 6 or 8 weeks where we don't use the truck as a camper. This has still been plugged in and still working. I probably should have unplugged it just to save it the mechanics a little bit, but it just keeps running. I haven't unplugged it primarily, I think, 2 reasons. One is because I have to clean this all out and all that, and I've just been kind of lazy. I haven't done that. And the other is because, especially here in Florida, the little town we live in has a small grocery store here where we go all the time. But to go to big grocery store is about a half hour away. And so it's really nice to have this running, and when we go grocery shopping, we just bring the stuff and put the refrigerated stuff and the freezer stuff in here to keep it nice as we're coming home. So, but yeah, I really need to unplug this so it's not running until we're actually using the camper. These two separate compartments, this one is about twice the size of that one because the compressor's down underneath here. These are independently controlled. So you can make them both freezers, you can make them both refrigerators, or you can make one of each. So we have a freezer here and a refrigerator here. Right now we have this deep one set as a refrigerator, and then this more shallow one is set as a freezer. And you can see it even has lights in there on the side, so you can see when you open it up. You can see the controls right here. Separate controls for the two sides. I have this one for the freezer. I have this one for the refrigerator. I've actually got that set at 34. I think it's 32 now because it was, even in North Florida here last night, it was down below freezing. Yeah, that one's set at 10 and that's where it is. So you can flip them if you want, control it however you want. This right here is the battery protection. It senses if your battery in your car is starting to get low, and it'll shut it off so it won't drain your battery. And you can set that on high, medium, or low protection. So you can leave it in your car overnight if you want to without worrying, because if it starts to run the battery down, it'll shut this off. So you can use this in an RV or a camper van. Even if you're full-time, it's going to do the job. But also, if you just want to take it for an occasional weekend trip, or say you're going to do a road trip in your car, you put this in the back seat and you plug it in. There's a, a round power plug, like for a cigarette lighter. You can plug it in there and power it from your back seat while you're driving. And then when you get, if you're staying in hotels as you travel, they also have this adapter where you can plug it into the wall. So you can have it plugged into the car while you're driving. When you get to your hotel, you take it inside, plug it into the wall. Very user-friendly that way. So after a year and a half now of having this thing running, and like I said, it just keeps going, it's a real workhorse, I highly recommend it. This is the PT55 Set Power. It's a 55 quart. They have smaller ones and they are the same footprint, but they're shorter. And so in the description down below, I have a link to our YouTube video that was a more thorough review of this. And there's also a link there where you can get 16% off of any Set Power refrigerator, freezer that you want to purchase. So go ahead and check it out. Check out the video about this if you're interested, and you go check out the website. It's a great deal. So this freezer had frost all around the edges because it was a freezer, so I had to open this up and let it sit for a while and let it defrost. And so now I just need to make sure that I get all the water out of it. And I'm just going to let it sit like this with the top open for a little while to make sure it's all completely dry before I close the lids. So it's all unplugged. It's all ready to go. I'll come back in an hour or two and shut it up. Thanks for watching. Live simple, live free. You be blessed. We'll see you next time.